All right.
Trying to put an oil pump on.
Now this.
Sealer down around the edge down there.
So you do put sealer on the case and then push the gasket to it, Keenan?
Yeah, I only do the couple spots though.
Okay.
Just around where the oil gallery is. Around where the pressure's at. These thick black gaskets are thicker than these old paper ones, so you don't have quite as much oil pressure when you use them, but they fit better. Don't look one way, go the other way. Didn't work that way either. Go back to the first way. Sealer also hold the gasket down, but more concerned about sealing and holding. All right. Okay, we already got our key on there and it's tight. On a key with the clip. Put the key on. And these, the thick gears go on the outside. So I'm going to use the fat oil pump key. Okay. That's good for dropping it. Make sure your key's in there, no dirt on it. Keep your floor clean, it helps. I'm putting it backwards. Okay. See how nice precision fit this worn out pump is. I think all these old pumps are worn out. And there's no seals either, so they leak. Always good stuff. Now, this one takes a little short key in it. Wind the key up, kind of feel as you go there. Slides on a little bit. Push it down with a screwdriver. Push it all in. Lube on the shaft. It also lubes the back of the gear too, which helps get your oil flow going. Same on this one. Gasket surface though.
Walk over on this side.
Okay, you line it up so the key is where you can get to it here. Some lube on the shaft. You already got the gasket on there. You always drop it too a couple times to help it out. Okay. This is in the way. Common problem. Means we'll have to shorten that shaft a little bit and put it back in. These you got to put the keys in first on this other side. Now you look for the sharp edge on the gear. See, this one has more of a radius to it. This is more sharp, so put that toward the clip. These motors, you can slide the gear into the pump all the way in. Aluminum pumps, you can't do that. Okay. Put this key in here. That's why I put the shaft at this location. And get your gear again. Remember where the key is. It goes there. So you want to be Keyway slot. Put pressure on the key because it wants to rotate on you. And see how it slides in once you get in the right spot. Slides in. These you have a sharp edge and a radius edge. That's radius, that's sharp. Sharp edge is out. Gives you better holding power. And you don't want to expand these any more than you have to go.
Just enough to get it on.
Yeah. This one's quite a bit. There it goes. Look over here, I'm holding the shaft over here on this side, not a finger. I'm always holding that. Okay, now you come back and look at your key. Don't worry about that. So you want to make sure this is tight. See how it doesn't want to move?
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's holding real good. If it just spins freely, probably trying to put another clip on it. Okay, that's laying there. Go ahead and get set of gasket looped up. This gasket's probably shrunk back down a little bit on us. I'll push the gasket over the studs without tearing the gasket. It's fighting a little bit. Just a little at a time. Don't want to tear the gasket too much. There it goes. Special 1/4 24 thread nut, so don't go just putting standard hardware in these things. special tall one here. If this wasn't on there, you could actually tighten it with a wrench.
That, yeah, I know.
Okay. As you start in the middle, work my way out on the torque in these things. See, luckily we're in the flat of this here, so you have actually room to get the socket in there.
Right.
If you rotate it with a hex wheel, you couldn't do it. There's a little bit of a torque pattern there. Something wrong with that. Something's wrong. Okay, we'll get back to that. Make sure the oil pump turns relatively freely. A light drag is one thing, heavy drag is not going to fly. This one has no drag. So.
That feel go.
It's well broken in. Now you're going to torque these down pretty good. Come back and retorque these again yet. See what the gaskets here is pushing out.
Right.
Torquing the hell out of it. Okay. Now this one, something's wrong. Probably the wrong thread nut. Or the studs bad, or both.
You want another nut?
Yeah, let's get a different nut.
Okay, let me turn this.
Fucked up and fix it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, you on?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, we got this nut swapped out to the right thread and torqued it. So these are all torqued again. We also came back and retorqued this after we got the pump on it. Okay, now we can go ahead and put the other junk in here. So we're going to put a little oil in here. Just kind of pour in there.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
You take your ball and drop it in the hole. It's lubed.
Okay.
It's self-lubing. Here's your spring here.
Keena, how long are those springs supposed to be? I read in the book.
About that long right there.
Okay.
You want to make sure they got good tension and that they're you don't have to lint or crap inside of here. So when you do that, you see if anything.
Oh, okay.
Around. And if you accidentally make it a little longer, whoopee.
Okay.
But don't stretch the hell out of it for no reason. Okay, this is a nut. Gotta make sure that goes up inside the spring here when you put it on. Go ahead and put that on in. Okay, where's my driver at? Okay, I got my impact knocker. I put the big blade in it to match the big hole. Steel hammer buried over here in the corner. Okay, now you just put a little pressure on it, hit with a knocker, and it tightens it. One, it's tight.
Okay. 2 taps.
You know, you can see it didn't barely move at all.
Right.
So it's tight. Okay, now you can see the hole there.
Right.
Got our plunger here. Now that looks really short.
Now that's a brand new spring that I bought with a kit, okay, that came with the...
Yeah, that looks pretty damn short though. Okay, I'm going to double check that one. Anyway, you put the oil in here. Same deal, it lubricates the side of the plunger.
Right.
And it stuffs in. You just push right in nice and freely. If there's any kind of binding, get it out and check it.
Okay.
Okay, let's go check this spring here.
I won't.
Okay, this pump here, we looked at our spring here. Didn't look right to me. This is our 54 and up pump spring.
Wow.
Up to 72. And this is a 54 pump because it has this style top on it. The earlier pumps didn't have the style. They had a little small radius screw head one that you put on. That's the earlier pump. So this 49 motor, but it's got a late pump on it. So we got to use the right spring. This has an actual cup plunger, whereas the other one had a pin with like a ball on the end.
Right.
So anyway, this spring here is for the older one, which is different. So we're not going to use that on this one. It's different parts. So this is the correct spring. If something doesn't look right, go check it. Now the other springs are just about all identical, and as I recall, the earlier ones are stronger than the late ones, so I'm alright with that. But This here is a 56 spring here. You can see how frail these things are.
Mm-hmm.
This one here's out of an 80.
That one's thin
The
too.
one that you had in there is a lot
Right.
stronger.
Oh, it
than
is.
these.
I can tell that.
That's that one there. See, it's gone. So we can't check it. We don't have one. All right, we have a little copper washer here. Just stick it on in there. Push and rotate so you don't tear the threads up. It's hard on threads that they have to overcome spring tension when you tighten. These are 3/4, I recall. That ain't 3/4. Okay, you got a wrench there. You can either grunt on this like crazy or you give it a couple love taps with your hammer. Love taps are better, more control.
Right.
You can see how it's starting to get tight. You give it a couple more and it's done. Now if that leaks down the road, then you put a little sealer on there or something, but otherwise leave it alone.
No sealer.
Don't put sealer unless you have to.
Okay.
You don't want sealer inside your plunger. Don't need it. Okay, we got our little screen in here for our breather. That helps separate the oil out of the breather system so it doesn't puke so much in your tranny. At least that's the theory behind it. In the real world it leaks anyway. Okay, now we got our cam. Here's our oil pump gear. See how you got a fat one there and you got a bunch of skinnies. See how the fat one's on the bottom right now?
Right.
Oh geez, it goes right on now. Look at that.
Wow.
If you rotate it, it'll suck in, see? Now if you look at your gear in there, you want this gear to be centered over the one below it. See, right now it's not.
Right.
When you rotate it,
it centers it.
It centers it, and so
Okay.
that means it goes up against that one.
Right.
Then you have your spring and stuff that goes in here, which you don't really need anyway, but...
You don't really need that in there?
Nope. You don't need this. All you need is a spacer.
Oh, okay.
We'll put them both in. We have them both, so we use them both.
Right.
Okay, then you take your gear. Now someone's trimmed this thing for some reason. I don't know why, but it doesn't hurt anything. Now, same thing. You get your fat one.
Mm-hmm.
We're back on the bottom again. So
Right.
put it back on the bottom.
All right.
And this one you don't have to beat on. It just slides on. So it goes on. Now you want to make sure the spacer's right because you don't want to have this thing sticking out too far. You can see how the shaft's undercut.
Right.
So usually that's going to sit about here on your bushing. If you look at your cam cover, see how the bushing is below the surface?
Mm-hmm.
So that means when you're flush, like right there, that's where the gasket is. The bushing's that thick, so it's going to sit about here. So see how it's right on the edge of that machined area?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good reference, just go by the undercut. But you just want to make sure it's there. Now if you didn't have that spring in there, you'd have to have a wider spacer sleeve
Oh, okay.
to keep it closer. But,
Right. Just to space it.
but it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
You got a gear this wide, going against a gear that wide. As long as the teeth engage, it doesn't matter where. As long as it's on it. Okay. Now we already checked all our shimming up before we fit the final assembly.
Right.
We already did our mock-up. So we already know we got our right shim and everything in here. So go ahead and put some oil on there. You want to make sure you got some oil on the back side of the washer. You can rotate it once it's in there to get more on it. Right.
Is your friend, what is his name? The guy back there?
Gino,
Is he having a girlfriend trouble?
he's having porting problems.
Oh.
It's close enough to your girlfriend.
Oh.
Okay, I lubricate the gear cam lobes here.
Mm-hmm.
I only care about the tops because the bottom's no load on them. So just load them up. Okay, now what I didn't do is I did not lubricate the oil pump gear, so I'm going to go back and do that real quick. Knock over your cam now. Okay, just do that by putting oil on your gear here. And that will lubricate the whole gear. And as you rotate, it'll do the it will lubricate the gear below it. You can see how the oil's already getting on the teeth below it.
Yes, sir.
So as you rotate, it'll do the whole thing. Okay. Go ahead and put a little lube on this teeth here while we're at it. Doesn't hurt to have oil and everything. Okay, this here's needs some oil.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Do have a zoom on that thing, you know.
Oh, well, I was.
Okay, put that on. Okay, where's our idler at? Okay, we already matched these up. Okay, see the marks? See, this one's for the cam, this one's for the distributor. See, we're tooth off right now. Line it up. Eventually it gets all the way down. Now that has to go on before the cam goes in, because it's on the other side. These two marks here line up this one. So get your mark on the top. See that one's in?
Mm-hmm.
You rotate this one until it's in, and this drops in. Marks, marks, and marks.
Yes, sir.
And this sleeve here went on this one, so it goes on next. Now, there's two ways of doing it. You can put the clip on there, or you can leave the clip off. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It's just if you have the clip in there, it could actually jam up inside of here and lock up that gear, which would be a problem.
Right.
So you have to check that before you do your final,
Okay.
if you're going to use it. Now, if you don't have the clip on it, when you pull the cam out, it can come out too.
Right.
Well, if I got the cover off, I don't care if that gear comes out. It's not like I'm going to run it with a damn cover off, so it doesn't matter. So as you leave them out. Now, these here have two different heights. If you don't know which way it goes, put it on the bike, find out.
Right. As long as it's got to match the gear, huh?
Obviously that's not good. Not even. Take it off and flip it over. Yeah, it's even.
Yeah, it's even.
Must be right.
Ah, cool.
Put a little lubricant on there. Okay. Keep it off the gasket surface helps. Okay. Lubricate the two shafts here that matter. Maybe that one and this one. No, we haven't put the screw in there yet. We can't forget to do that. Getting close to forgetting, but we didn't forget yet. Here's our screw. That plugs up the oil gallery so that oil goes in the crank and not out the end of the bushing, which would be a problem. Definitely be low oil pressure. It's a backwards thread.
Oh, it's a backwards thread. Okay.
Yep.
See, the other shaft didn't have one of them screws in it, Keenan. Or did it did? Yep. Okay. I didn't see it.
If it made right, it would be.
Oh, I didn't.
It's plugged up somehow.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
Okay, that one fits there good enough. Where'd my knocker go? Now we don't want to be on the end of the crank anymore. We have to because it's to knock it out of true. So we don't want it laying on the shaft on the other side. So at least now we're only knocking on one side of the flywheel. But so light taps don't hit hard. It's tight. Okay. Wipe off the oil off the gasket surface. Okay, we'll get our gasket now. Shut it off.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Alright, here's our gasket. I'm going to go ahead and goop it up. Goop up our gasket surface. This is a good goop. gasket seats. This stuff that gets in the motor, it's like the gray junk. It grinds up and goes away. Shouldn't do any damage.
You put it on the motor and on the case, the cover too.
All four surfaces.
Okay.
If you actually read the directions, it tells you that. You only have to let it get tacky. It only takes 3 to 5 minutes. But it can sit for a couple hours. It wouldn't matter.
It would? It
Nope.
don't matter?
Don't
It
matter.
won't. It won't stick up or glue up, gum up.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as the
So
gasket-
how long do you put it on that set for like 5 or 10 minutes and then put it together? Or?
I just put it together. I don't.
Oh, okay.
If you want it to be tacky, you will let it wet for 3 minutes and it'll be tacky. And as soon as it touches it, it'll stick. And then
Okay.
you'll probably tear the gasket trying to unstick it. So if you got to do any adjustments, you better do them quick. Once it tacks off, it just pulls the gasket sealer off the case. You can tell I've been using this for a while.
Yeah, do you put a few motors together with that piece of wood or whatever that is, tile or
Cardboard.
cardboard? I was to say, I wonder how many motors is you put that.
Looks like a custom chrome out of
Yeah.
cardboard. Yeah.
Been a few, huh?
Yeah.
Since it was a custom chrome thing, you don't do custom chrome.
Not too much anymore. They don't have anything.
But they don't have anything, you know.
Yep. Yep. Okay, we got all those in. See, it's got little stringies everywhere.
Right.
You just touch it down, it sticks. And just move it where you want it to be. Get the holes all lined up. When they stick, you just go like that and they go away. You stick your finger. But if you forget them, it don't matter anyway. Just choose them up and they go bye-bye. Okay, put a little oil on our cam bush in here. Do on the pinion bush. And we're good to go. You always put the better ones up so you can see them better. Some people like that. I always like to start these before I put the cover down so the gasket doesn't get torn.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Kind of dowels the gasket in.
Mm-hmm.
Beat the hell out of it. Lift off the crankshaft first. Yes, I move it around and back and forth. Just beating the hell out of one spot. Make sure the crank rotates. Yeah, rotates like it's supposed to. Yep. Okay. Always do that just to double check as you're doing stuff. It's worse than putting it all together and find out you can't turn. It turns a lot easier once I get the other 2 screws in there. It's cocked up a little bit. Kind of bounce around between different ones. Doesn't really matter, but never hurts. I also use the engine stand a lot. And put the 2 generator bolts in here so that we can pull the gasket down over here.
Oh, okay.
I knew you were wondering why I wanted those.
Well, now it all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Just to suck that gasket down, make it fit real good, huh?
Like the sealer go without it being near the gasket.
Goodness, what a journey. What a journey.
Make a lot of torque, just a little bit. Need new generator bolts too, I see. So
I will have to get
all rounded off.
Right.
Stupid ass chromer, see? They're no longer.
I know.
Yeah, that's a precision fit there, see?
Right.
Make sure that rotates all the way around and go clunk on something. Do 2 turns. If you got a high lift cam, see how that gear gets right there?
Mm-hmm.
It'll hit those teeth right there and go clunk. It puts a big gouge in the cam. When you get up to about 450 lift, 440 lift, you hit. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and tighten these screws up.
Oh my God.
Use my favorite tool again. Hammer. You get tight and you go, make sure it's tight.
Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3.
You're looking at how far it moves.
Right. Oh, okay.
Keep going to break the side of the cover.
Right. I don't want to.
It's gonna, gasket's gonna soften up after you use it. After you get some heat on it, so you gotta come back and retorque them anyway. But don't try to do it all at one shot. See if you already did it, see it doesn't move. So it doesn't matter if you go back and do it again. See, this one here is already done. It doesn't move.
Right.
This one isn't done.
Oop, watch yourself.
Well, it helps the elbow. Gives you a nice
You
tingling.
alright?
Gives you a tingling feel up your elbow. I think I didn't do this one. Yep, that one's already done. Okay, now, here we go. Do this over here. I'm like beating on my crank, but oh well. That hurts that crank, you get problems anyway. Okay, they're all in there, they're all torqued. Pumps all in it. We don't have that in, we don't have a breather
I'll put those
oil
in.
line fitting in there.
I'll bring those. They were in my bag that I had them in there.
So we make sure this rotates. Everything's working nice and free. Yeah, so now we're ready to get to our lifter blocks. Very important, plug all holes when you're not using them. Otherwise if you leave that loose, you know it's not done. And we already torqued the drain plug. So
Okay.
don't leave places for dirt and stuff to get in. This here we'll tape up later. Okay, now we go dig up our lifter blocks.